From triggers to treasures. This month's Manifesting Monday theme: how to turn your biggest triggers into your greatest treasures, how to use your triggers to actually create the life of your dreams. So, there's a few ideas. You can think about it from a psychological perspective that if I'm getting triggered by something, it means that it is bringing up a belief about myself that is something other than what I want. Another way to see it from a more manifestation perspective, if there's a trigger happening in my reality, it's informing me that I still believe something about me that's creating this experience. So it's actually a moment to recognize, oh, what am I still believing about myself? Where am I still giving my power to the circumstances and conditions around me? And how can I reclaim that power? Nervous system regulation, which we'll be exploring in this workshop, and use it to actually turn into energy that moves me towards my desires, or helps me to rewire my brain in a way that is moving towards what I really want, or believing things about myself that I really want to believe. For example, if someone comes up to me and says, "You're so ugly," or something, and I feel triggered, it means that I must believe that about myself. Either it's triggering me because I believe it about myself, or I believe it about myself, therefore reality is reflecting it back to me, is mirroring it back to me. So instead of trying to change the mirror, we change self, and then the reflection changes. So, as Florence Scovel says, when I am unmoved by conditions, conditions move. But we need to be unmoved by conditions. So how do we do that? Nervous system regulation. So we're going to start by doing 10 minutes of journaling. And I suggest, if we were on a one-on-one call, I would say sky is the limit, or there are no limits to what you bring, that we can work with whatever you're going to bring. However, we're not on a one-on-one call right now. So I would suggest that whatever you bring to write about, that it doesn't trigger you more than like a 6 or a 7, so that what we do will actually help to bring you back into alignment. So it could be something that is a big trigger, but that writing about it is only going to bring you to about a 7, 6 or 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend 10 minutes and you're going to write the last time that I was triggered was, and it triggers me because I believe what I'd like to believe instead. So I'm going to go ahead and put those into the chat. And I'm going to set the timer. And I'll put on a little music, and I will kind of do like 3-3-3 for the timer. So when the timer goes off, that's your sign to go to the next prompt. So the last time I was triggered was, and it triggers me because I believe. What I'd like to believe instead is. You're not Wrap up any writing that you're still clearing. And we're actually going to now move into some EFT tapping. So, like I said, one of the keys to turning your treasures into triggers is emotional regulation. So, or bringing your, as I've heard it called, your nervous system back into a serene system. And one of the ways to do that, and everyone has their own ways, is EFT tapping, right? You can do breath work, movement, exercise. Another one of my favorites actually is meditation, and I do these releases that we've experienced here in Manifesting Monday together before. You can find them on my YouTube channel, but really just like welcoming the feeling and then being with and allowing that energy to just become the infinite energy that it already is. And yeah, so meditation, EFT tapping are some of my favorites. You can do temperature stuff, cold plunges, putting your face in cold water, paced breathing exercises, muscle tension and relaxation. There's so many ways to bring your nervous system or your serene system back online. And yeah, so we're going to play with some EFT tapping. And since we're in a group, it's going to be kind of a general one of moving from a trigger into wholeness. So if you've never done EFT tapping, what we're going to do is we're going to tap here, and you can just follow along with me. You're going to tap here, you're going to repeat after me, so please stay muted. Here, 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 and then on the top of the head. So we'll go through that a few times, but just follow me. If you feel lost at all, just look at me. And let's start. Even though sometimes I get triggered, I choose to deeply love and accept myself. Even though sometimes I give my power away to the circumstances outside of me, I choose to deeply love and accept myself. Sometimes I think situations have the power to control me. Sometimes I get lost in my feelings and my triggers. But I choose to see the situation for what it is. I choose to see that this is just a belief, just a thought that I kept thinking. And I'm going to decide to think new thoughts now. I'm going to allow new beliefs to find their way to me. And so I choose to reclaim my power. I choose to see my wholeness. I choose to see how lovable, enough, and worthy I already am. I choose to see my perfection. And I choose to be happy because I can be. I've decided that this situation has no power over me. I've decided that I get to be happy. I can't wait to see how the situation plays itself out for my good. I can't wait to see how everything is always working out for me. There have been times before where something happened that I thought was bad, and yet somehow it was the catapult or the springboard into something new that I really wanted. I know that I'm always being guided. I choose to tap into that guidance now. I choose to see how this situation is going to serve me. I decide that this situation is going to serve me. I decide that life is going to serve me. I now receive and allow life serving me. I allow the goodness of life to unfold in body, mind, and spirit. Taking a breath. Now we're going to do a short meditation, a releasing meditation. So, closing your eyes or adjusting in any way that helps you to be a little more available to yourself. And just notice what feeling is here with you now. And is there any feeling that is something other than happiness? And taking a breath, can you welcome that feeling? Can you open to the possibility that nothing needs to be different in your life for happiness to find its way to you now, even just a little bit? And then could you allow that happiness as best as you can to be here now? And can you again Notice any feelings that seem something other than happiness. And could you allow those feelings to just melt into the uncaused happiness that is already here? Could you let go of needing anything to be different to have happiness now? And could you just notice you're unable to really put any labels or concepts or ideas onto anything? What's here now? And can you find unhappiness, disturbance? You can't refer to any thoughts. The mind may try to come up and say something, but what is here? Maybe just don't land or just don't believe any of those thoughts. And taking a breath, you open to the possibility that you are already whole now. When you don't believe any thoughts coming in and saying something otherwise. That you are already worthy now. Could you allow your worthiness as best as you can? Could you open to that a little more? A little more. And then just notice it's here without any concepts or ideas. You even let go of this idea of worthy. What's here? Take another breath and letting go of this practice for today. So now we're going to go into, well, actually, okay, first I'm going to pause the recording and do a harvest and see if there's any short shares anyone wants to share before we go into our breakout rooms. And we'll go into breakout rooms and do some authentic relating. And then we will close with a harvest, which will also not be recorded today, just because this thing is going to be public. Yeah. So for our authentic relating game today, and I'll also put this into the chat. You will first land together. You're going to decide who goes first. Share. The first person is going to be the first sharer, and the other person is going to be the first listener. So you'll see an S or an L as prompts. So for speaker, you'll have 30 seconds, and don't worry about all of this because I will be prompting you. You'll have 30 seconds to share the new belief that I'm choosing around myself or my desire is. For example, it gets to be easy. And then listener, you'll have 2 minutes to get curious and ask a question for the speaker, maybe about this belief, how it shows up in their life, whatever that is. If you're doing this solo in the recording, go grab a journal and journal these things out. So then you can get curious and ask yourself a question if you're doing this solo in the recording. So get curious, ask a question, and then speaker, you're going to answer. That's going to be 2 minutes total. And then 2 minutes, if I were experiencing my desire on a regular basis, I would feel, think, do. Feel, think, do. So how would you feel? What would you think about? What kinds of things would you do if this desire was already in your life? This new belief was already ingrained in you. And listener, listener, you'll have 1 minute to share. I really felt you in. And then speaker, you'll have 1 minute to share to honor the version of myself who has this new belief. I will. And then listener, you're going to, as you've been listening to this person, you're just going to notice, like, I see you now. So you don't have to see it the whole time, but after you've listened to them, really go inward and just, how do I see this person now? So I see you now walking with your head held high, and you're on this busy street and the crowds are parting for you, something like that. So I see you now, and you'll have a minute to just keep sharing what comes up. Speaker, you'll then have a minute to just respond in any way you feel called. And then listener, something that you shared that I really needed to hear was, and then you'll switch roles, and then you'll have a 3-minute debrief before we come back for our harvest. Any questions? All right, so we just did a little location change, but we're gonna get ready for breakout rooms now. And one thing that I want to remind you or encourage you about is when you're in the breakout rooms, and again, if you're doing this solo and you're just with a journal, cool, or if you grabbed a friend and you're in the recording, and for everyone right now who's about to go into the breakout rooms, when you're in the breakout rooms, I really encourage you to allow there to be silence if there's still time left, and see if something more comes up that wants to be shared with that space. Sometimes it takes us a moment to digest really what's happening in us or what's being said. So silence is okay, and to kind of sit in that until the next prompt comes. And also to, when you get the warning or hear the timer, to actually stop talking and pass the baton for the next prompt to the next person. So, all right, I got the breakout rooms open. me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So first you're going to land together. You're going to decide who is the first speaker and who is the first listener. And then first speaker, you have 30 seconds. The new belief I'm choosing is. And that's time. As we go to the next section, where listener, you get to get curious and ask a question, and speaker, you're going to answer the question, and you have 2 minutes total to receive the question and to answer it. Wrapping that up. And time for our next prompt, speaker. If I were experiencing my desire on a regular basis, I would feel, think, do. You have 2 minutes. Ramping up that expression. Listener, you'll now respond with, I really felt you when. When did you really feel your speaker? 1 minute. Bringing that expression to a close. Speaker. To honor the version of myself who has this new belief, I will. 1 minute. Taking a breath. Listener, I see you now. You close your eyes and envision all of what your speaker shared. How do you see your speaker? You have 1 minute. Coming back to silence. Speaker, you now get to respond in any way that you feel inspired. 1 minute. And listener, you now get to share. Something you shared that I really needed to hear was you have 1 minute. And taking a breath together. You are now going to switch roles. So if you were just the speaker, you are now the listener. And if you were just the listener, you are now the speaker. So, new speaker, you have 30 seconds to share. The new belief I am choosing is. And closing that expression. Listener, hearing that belief, maybe you have a question, a curiosity. Ask your question, and speaker, you will answer. You have 2 minutes total. And coming back into silence together. Speaker, you now get to share for 2 minutes. If I were experiencing my desire on a regular basis, I would feel, think, do. Now, listener, you have a minute to share. I really felt you when. And speaker, you now have a minute to share to honor the version of myself who has this new belief I will. Now, listener, you have a minute to share. I see you now. I'm bringing that one to a close. Speaker, you now get to respond in any way that you feel inspired. Wrapping that expression. Listener, you now get to share. Something you shared that I really needed to hear was Now we move into a 3-minute debrief where you just get to share openly whatever you want to share about that experience with your partner. And if you're solo journaling, just free write for the next 3 minutes. All right. So, welcome back, everyone. We're going to move into about a 10-minute harvest. So, if you are one of the people watching the recording, you can just keep journaling and free writing and maybe decide what it is that you want to do for the day. What are your takeaways? Who are you now after having done this exercise? All right, post editing magic here. So the recording quality on the very end of that video got really bad. So I just wanted to say I cannot wait to see you again. And if you want to register for the next upcoming workshop so you can actually get that live juiciness, join in the registration down below. You can book one-on-ones and find my in-person workshops as well. So see you then.